Hey guys, it's time for something a little different. Instead of a Sonic game, I'm going to be commentating on a Sonic cartoon. Yeah, that's variety, right? Anyway, what you're watching is Sonic Underground, what is largely considered the black sheep of the three, um, cartoons. I was about to say American cartoons, but now that I think about it, I think this was originally a French production. Not sure, I'll have to check on that. Anyway, what you're hearing right now is probably the closest thing to a decent song in this entire series, which is kind of a low point, considering that this is supposed to be a series centered on music. For God knows what reason. Yes, maybe they were influenced by the original concept for Sonic the Hedgehog, which involved Sonic being in a band with a girlfriend named Madonna. But anyway, Sonic Underground, not entirely sure why it's called Sonic Underground, because it doesn't seem to be a very underground movement they've got going here. But anyway, it shares certain characteristics with SatAM. That's Saturday AM, for those of you who don't know, the cartoon officially titled just Sonic the Hedgehog, which is, in my humblest opinion, the best of the three, but, you know. Yeah, for one thing, Robotnik's design is a SatAM design. Unfortunately, his voice is not. We'll get to that later. Robotropolis and Mobotropolis. We also have Uncle Chuck. We'll be seeing him soon. But keep in mind, although it shares some characteristics, some little plot elements and stuff, this is not connected to SatAM or the Archie comics in any way. In fact, of the three comics, this is the most wildly off-canon cartoon of the bunch. Sonic X is closer to the games, SatAM is closer to the games, even Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is closer to the games. Yeah, the Roboticizer is here, although it only seems to do partial transformations for some reason in this one. And we have ourselves some dark atmospheres, but as far as the balance between wacky and gritty goes, Sonic Underground is more of a middle ground series. It's for the kids and the older audiences, and in my opinion, it's kind of that halfway road you shouldn't be even bothering to try taking. I can understand trying to get a balance between cartoony, wacky, and dark and gritty drama, but there's a difference between that and trying to appeal to kids, to younger audiences and older audiences at the same time. It's not something that's always going to work. But I do like the basic concepts when you ignore the whole magical music instrument thing, which we'll be getting into as the series progresses. I like the royalty concept here. This queen, whatever her name is, I don't even remember. I don't care enough to remember. Has to give up her children, to separate parents even, so that one day they can reunite, form the Council of Four, and overthrow Robotnik. Yeah, fast even as a baby. Who can resist that face? Baby Sonic. I do like the animation quality, although there is one constant issue that bugs me, which you'll probably notice quite easily, is that the shapes and sizes of characters have a tendency to be somewhat inconsistent. The green one is Manic, the pink one is Sonia, and, you know what, I'll mention that when it becomes pertinent. And yeah, this one winds up in the hands of someone the Queen did not intend. Oh, I guess this just... I guess that's just a vaguely clever excuse to make him the wild man of the bunch. So yes, Manic the Hedgehog is going to be the thief of our little merry adventuring party here. I do kind of like this bit here. He stole the drumsticks too. Yes, I do like Sonic's brother and sister here, and I actually kind of wish they'd I kind of wish they'd get a little more love in the other adaptations, like maybe some sort of appearance in the comics or something. Although Sonia's voice, I could do without. Not much worrying about that in a comic, but well, Sonia's voice. Well, let me put it this way. Sonic the Hedgehog is voiced by Jaleel White in these older cartoons. The guy most well known for his role as Steve Urkel in Family Matters. So I guess they decided that because they're triplets or something, they should be voiced by the same person because, fraternal twins and triplets have the same voice, I guess. Even to the point where the girl is voiced by the same guy who voices the other two. So yes, Sonia is voiced by Jaleel White, of all things. And to his credit, he carries the role about as well as any guy should ever have an excuse to voice a girl, a young girl even. So I guess that's a credit to him as an actor, maybe. These are the SWAT bots for our little adventure series here. Oh no, the house is burning. I wouldn't be surprised if he set it on fire by accident when he ran away, and that's why it's burning, and it wasn't the SWAT bots at all. Oh my god, Baby Sonic's voice is horrible, I forgot. Yeah, don't worry. His voice when he's an adult actually isn't bad. In fact, I think it's actually slightly better than Saddam and the Adventure series because it sounds more reserved from the few episodes that I've watched, and I think that kind of balances it out a little because he sounds really cheesy and full of attitude and not a very good way in the other two cartoons, but in Underground he actually sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah, what's up with that, Unc? How come I have to be so careful?
Yeah, because if he found out who was taking out all his factories, he'd be hunting you
Then
all
again,
the
maybe Jaleel White is speaking in a less acted voice for Sonic in this one because the other two characters have just burned him out a little too much. I don't know. This one is, I think, circa 1999. And by the way, I hate Uncle Chuck's voice in this one. His voice in Saddam was infinitely better. If you compare the two, you will be able to tell that instantly. On the subject of that, we finally come to the point where we have to talk about Robotnik. Now, Robotnik is trying to be his Saddam version, I guess, but the voice actor is just so bland and generic. It is the only Robotnik voice actor that I can't stand. It's like, my god, did they just pick up some random guy on the street and tell him to do a random bad guy voice and not even tell him what character he's acting or something? Because it's he just sounds so boring. It's not even the kind of badge you can make fun of. He's just boring. And you have, in the other two cartoons, you have The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik, which is arguably the funniest Robotnik portrayal ever. And you have the Saddam Robotnik, which is very easily the scariest Robotnik portrayal ever. And then in the games, and even in Sonic X, you have really good Eggman voice actors. So, Jesus. Now, at this point in the series, Robotnik doesn't know what the mysterious blue secret weapon is that the freedom fighters are using to sabotage his devices is. So at this point, this is probably the only point in the series that the title Sonic Underground is appropriate, because Sonic is an underground freedom fighter. Which actually would have this kind of opening would have actually been a good introduction to Saddam. One of the things that I didn't like about Saddam is that it didn't really have an introduction that's centered on Sonic. It had the pilot, which I guess counts for something, but isn't technically a part of the series, and the first official episode of SatAM focused more on Sally Acorn than Sonic himself, which is a bit of a pet peeve I have with SatAM, is that Sally tends to steal quite a lot of the character spotlight from Sonic himself. Although I don't necessarily hate that the series focuses on other characters, it's just, Sonic. I think Sonic should have been the spotlight of the first episode, considering that the series is titled Sonic the Hedgehog, but not so much. Anyway, this is our mysterious seer, and you know what? I have to hate this guy because, well, you know what? I'll say that when it's pertinent, because I don't want to spoil anything too far ahead for those of you who haven't watched this.
Yeah, tell it to wait
Well, you know,
I'm too tired to care.
I love Sonic's attitude here.